talk. We back.
Back.
We are back.
Back.
We are back.
We are back.
It's been a minute.
Yes, it's been a minute. We've
Some
been trying to
deaths.
avoid
Deaths in the
family and avoiding this
COVID.
This Omicron, and
yeah.
you know, certain people can't get laptops, so we can't do like
can't go
remote-
live.
Yeah,
We
we can't go
trying
live.
to do some live
Yeah.
shows for y'all.
Exactly, but
But
you
a
know,
certain old motherfucker.
Yeah, we ain't gonna say who because it's two old people, so I don't want to throw somebody under the bus. But a certain old just can't get the shit together. Y'all know who was on the last live stream.
I know who the old motherfucker that couldn't click in.
Y'all know who was in the chat. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Hello and hello again.
Review. Go ahead.
We're gonna talk about the Gary Russell fight Saturday. Let's see. If I was to, as I told them, I came in the fight late. I'm still gonna watch it, but if I'm looking at the scorecard that Showtime put up and I'm listening to the commentators, I thought Gary Russell got whitewashed. But as I'm watching what I did see, I'm seeing this kid miss shots, and I'm noticing that Russell's only using one arm, and he's landing that shot. I think was his left arm.
Yeah,
So he was landing lead left whenever he wanted to, and like I said, this kid couldn't hit him. And something we always say on the show is look with your eyes and not listen to the commentators. Brandon.
Yes, same. I mean, pretty much piggybacking. It's easy to be persuaded by the commentary, especially when there's an agenda to be pushed. But like I said, I thought Gary edged out the fight, but I'm also not mad at the fight going the other way because even though I thought Gary did enough to making him miss, making him pay, I also understand that his output wasn't high.
True.
So I can see how from the naked eye, him walking him down, him continuing to be aggressive, could look like he won the fight. Which, like I said, it was a close fight. So one of the things we got to get out of is when the fighter that you going for, the fighter that you want to win, don't win. You can't just automatically call robbery when it's a close fight.
Yeah.
And to me, the one-arm Gary Russell versus MAGSAYO was a close fight, so I'm not mad at whichever way the decision went. But one of the things I would have liked to see from my boy Lil G was, and I talked to my uncle about this too. He was like, "Damn, you know what? I didn't even think about that." But I would have liked to see Gary switch and go orthodox and use his left as a jab and win the fight with a jab. Because at least, you wouldn't have got a knockout. You didn't get a knockout throwing it from the southpaw position either. But at least your output would have been enough because you can jab with your lead hand. You can jab as many times as you want. But it's hard to keep loading up that, you know what I'm saying, the power hand. So I would have liked to see him go orthodox and just win the fight with a jab and not get hit. He probably could have doubled his output if he'd have switched stances. Because quiet as kept, Gary Russell is naturally right-handed. You see what I'm saying?
I didn't know that.
They're made to be southpaws, but they fight with their strong hand in the front. Unlike Tank Davis, who's naturally a left-handed fighter.
Okay.
So
I would have know that.
Yeah, I would have liked to see that from him. But like I said, no complaints. I do feel like the WBC was tired of Gary Russell being the champion and only fighting once a year, because it's not like he's a Canelo or Anthony Joshua where you fighting once a year but you bringing in 30, 40, 50 million. He fighting once a year and he making 600,000, maybe $1 million. So the reason why they really couldn't do nothing about it is because he's fighting mandatories.
Yeah.
So it's not like he was taking voluntary cherry picks and skipping out on the mandatories. They would have been able to strip him.
Yeah.
But the fact that his one time a year was fighting who they said he had to fight, it wasn't much they could do about it. So, and if you notice, Ray Vargas has already been ordered for Lil Manny. So we'll see how this goes. But I honestly don't think Gary gonna ever get a shot at a title again. I don't see it. And if he does, it'll be one of those things where he 34, 35, may have lost a step. One of these champions is looking to put a name on their resume, almost like how Canelo with with Shane Mosley or Pacquiao with De La Hoya or one of those guys where he fell off, he ain't as good as he was, but if you beat him, it's gonna be a good name on your resume. But he's too inactive, and he don't bring enough money to the table to only fight once a year. And like I said, we all know boxing is a business, so that's what I got so far. But go ahead. If I think of anything else, I'll be back.
I mean, just to piggyback on, I mean, what you said, you took a lot of my stuff. Both of y'all did. I watched the fight. I thought, like I said, I thought it was a close fight. I'm not mad at the decision. I did think that, like I said, that Gary did very well with one hand.
Yeah, he bit down.
Obviously, yeah, he bit down one hand. And I mean, truly one hand. I mean, I'm not talking about somebody who said that I hurt my hand in the left, in the 4th round, but you still saw him throwing a jab. I mean, literally throwing one hand.
Yeah.
The whole fight. It was a close fight. I'm not mad that it went that way, but I was going to say exactly what you said. I just think that they were tired of Gary. He's the longest reigning champion in boxing. So was it just the WBC? But I think it was the longest reigning. Period. Yeah. So I think they were just tired of him, and like you said, the ones, and that's what I discussed with you, Alan, when you was like this. How is he not stripped? I said because he fights his mandatory.
Yep.
Right. You can fight one mandatory a year. You ain't got to do nothing now.
Yep.
That's
why it's called voluntary. Because you want to voluntary take some fights, you can.
Yeah.
But those mandatories and fights, you got to take.
And I do believe that if he would have pulled out, and I mean, like I said, I'm not making any excuses. Shout out, I mean, congratulations to MAGSAYO. He won the fight because we're consistent here on, like, if you go in and you sign that contract and you go in that fight,
you took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, then it is what it is. Like I said, Gary did very, very well for a one-armed person, and I don't think it's anybody out there who watched the fight, even with the biased commentating, who think that Gary would have lost that fight with both hands,
right? Because
how close it was, with one hand. But he did go into the fight. He knew he was injured. The one difference is that Gary said it up front. Damn it, y'all gonna see. Y'all might see it in the fight that I am injured. But you did go in, and I think it's because he hadn't fought in almost 2 years. And if he'd have postponed, they'd have did him just like they did Devin. Remember they took Devin's title? Yeah. Go ahead, get the operation, but you were champion in recess. Yeah. So they'd have took his title. And I think, he probably needed the money. I mean, making $500,000 and you ain't fighting almost 2 years. Yeah. And then all this stuff is going on with your family.
Right.
It was
stacked.
It was stacked against him, and like I said, but hey, shout out to Mama Say. I'm not going to say anything about him other than the fact that he could have stopped Gary if he just went to Gary's goddamn right arm.
But see, and not only that,
but I respect him for not doing that because he could have just threw hooks to his goddamn right arm.
As he should.
He should.
All fair in love and war.
That's true.
And this is war. Yeah. So I think that, like I said, I'm consistent. So regardless of whether Gary is close, like I said, whether it's Jerry Hurt or whether it's somebody I don't know, when you step in the ring, you can't use the injury before the fight or any of that other stuff as an excuse. That goes for Gary, that goes for Wilder, that goes for Canelo, that goes for Jerry Hurt, that goes for anybody. You know what I'm saying? And because in this business, it's sad, but in this business, you have to be a businessman because you could end up in the boat like a Gary Russell where you take a fight injured and motherfuckers didn't want to fight you when you was the champion. You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't get any real voluntary defenses as the champion, so you think a motherfucker gonna fight you to fuck up there? It's like Boots. You think Keith Thurman gonna hop in there with Boots when he possibly got a chance to fight Earl? Like, they ain't gonna do it. You think Charlo gonna hop in there with Andrade or Benavidez gonna hop in there with Plant? If he got an opportunity to fight Canelo, they ain't gonna do it because they don't want to get knocked back down the ladder.
And that's another thing. I ain't mean to cut you off, but remember we talked about that, Alan, when you was talking about Benavidez could head Canelo off, head to 175, right? But if Canelo mentions that he's coming to 175,
there's nobody gonna fight. People gonna start. Think about it.
So that's why I say go now.
Yeah, but think about
if he said, look,
it's already mentioned.
It's already mentioned.
It's already in people's
foreseeable future. First thing they're gonna do is they're gonna reach out behind the scenes. We never gonna hear about it to Canelo's camp. Is he coming to 175? Right. Because if he is, then you know what I'm saying, they gonna hold off. We got mandatory stuff. We don't have to fight David Benavidez.
Watch this. There's only been one unification bout at 175 recently. Of course, we know Kovalev unified and Ward, you know. But since Ward relinquished the titles, there's been one unification match at 175.
He left unified. He didn't leave undisputed though, did he?
No, Adonis had the WBC.
Yeah.
There's been one unification match. Better be if and Glossic, whatever the fuck. And no disrespect, I just don't know how to pronounce it. There's been one. Beagle has been WB or IBF, whatever, WBA champion. Shit, damn near it seemed like just as long as Gary Russell.
Yeah.
Why haven't y'all decided to unify? Yeah. Joe Smith, WBO champion. And he got that because Canelo, you know, vacated when he went to super middleweight. Right. But it's like, why haven't you guys tried to mix it up? But guess what? When Canelo goes to that division, and let's say he beats Joe Smith, he's going to be looked upon to fight Dimitri Bivol. He's going to be looked upon to fight Better Be, which I agree because, like I said, I'm the type of Canelo fan that believes he can fuck all these motherfuckers up. So I'm not here to hide him. I hope this Charlo fight get made, which I think we got a segment about that next. Yeah, we gonna swivel back to Gary Russell. Yeah. But just saying that to say, you know, nobody wanted to fight him when he was the champion. So nobody's gonna allow him to derail them from an opportunity that they could possibly get, because at the end of the day, those championship fights bring more money.
Let me ask you a question. And although we know Gary Russell's one of the best out there, the kid that he fought, MAGSAYO, being that he couldn't take out a one-arm fighter, what do you see in his future?
He's gonna get beat soon. Well, he's not. And I'm not even saying that as a from a hating thing, but I just didn't see anything special. Like, I didn't see him cut the ring off well. I didn't see him do anything but just walk forward and apply pressure. And the one thing I will give him credit for was he was landing some decent body shots. Yeah. But I don't know how much credit I could give him from a motherfucker who didn't want to get his arm hit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I just didn't see nothing special, man.
It's almost like even before that fight, they kind of the politics. It was somewhat predetermined that if Gary Russell didn't dominate this kid, the way they built this kid up. I mean, this kid is all I heard about how hard he hit, and you know he's the next Manny Pacquiao because he's associated with Manny Pacquiao. But like you said, a one-arm Gary Russell would have got fucked up by Manny Pacquiao. The activity.
I don't know. One arm. Yeah, I'm sorry.
One arm. Yeah, one arm. I'm talking about one arm. But shit, at that way when Manny would have ran him down. But like
one arm.
One arm. Because I'm gonna tell you, because Manny smiled, he a senator and everything, but Manny a killer in that ring. Yeah. You show an injury, Manny will beat your arm up. Yeah. And make you quit. You'll be in the corner like, I just can't do it. I can't. Look, I can't even lift my arm anymore. Yeah. This motherfucker's just hitting my arm. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's doing. He's just hitting my arm.
Yeah, I didn't see anything special.
I didn't see anything special. I didn't. And the fight that the one that they talk about, his knockout of the year, he was losing that.
Yeah,
but he got power though.
Yeah, but the thing about power is you have to be able to know how to land it.
That's true.
Because you could be the strongest fighter in the world, but if you or the most powerful puncher in the world, but if you consistently grazing or overthrowing, it don't matter. Yeah, you gotta be able to land it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's, you know.
And he got somewhat school. So hopefully he learned from it. That's all I can say. You know, because some fighters take loss. I mean, not that he lost, but take certain fights and they learn from them.
I mean, we'll see. Yeah, so we'll see. I just didn't see anything that was worth.
I didn't
worth ranting about. You know what I'm saying?
When you taller. And seem
like
you
like he was fucking like
2 weight classes. Exactly. Look like you 2 weight classes above him. Yeah. And he fighting with one arm. And doing what he doing.
You're supposed to dog him.
Yeah, you supposed to.
Y'all don't see Gary Russell being able to get fights at 35 or 26.
Well, no, Gary might go up to
26 or 35.
With 30.
Well, 26 or 30.
Yeah, maybe Chris Colbert. If Chris Colbert wins,
they gotta prove it to me. Yeah. Like I said, everybody will sit there and say, "I'll do this, I'll do that."
I don't think that came out of Chris Colbert's mouth, though.
Didn't Shakur Stevenson say he'd fight him if the opportunity presented itself?
I mean, I don't see Shakur fight. First of all, I don't see the Bob Arum and Shakur
Yeah, that's not going.
I just don't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Chris Colbert, I would like to see it, but shit gotta be. I'm tired of fantasy fights. I'm tired I'm tired of people talking about what coulda, shoulda, woulda, mighta, hadda, nada.
You know, the sad part about your last statement was this: that when you said Shakur Stevenson, you said Bob Arum in front of him. That's what's changed in the game. We never mentioned fucking
Shakur need to thank. I'm gonna tell you right now, Shakur need to thank Terrence Crawford lawsuit, because Bob Arum hurry up and made that damn Shakur fight, because he was not trying to make that Shakur fight.
And it's sad.
It was until that lawsuit came, and he was like, then all of a sudden Shakur get ready to fight him. You know what I'm saying? Because before Shakur was hollering, telling me, don't hide him.
Yeah.
Don't hide him.
And like I said, part of that is Valdez. Like, you gotta want to fight. That's Gary Russell's issue. Yeah. I don't think a lot of it initially was out there. If Leo Santa Cruz say no, I don't want to fight him, what can he do?
He can't do.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
he can't do nothing.
Part of that is these fighters wanting to fight. And my thing is, to me, Gary Russell should be applauded, not just off of the simple fact that he fought with one hand, but that man, he willing to go in there and leave it all on the line, win, lose, or draw. Yeah. And that's what's lost in the sport of boxing. That's why people like Gary Russell and Sean Porter and all of those guys who go up, Adrian Broner, who will go out there and fight anybody, we don't respect them enough, because the minute they lose or the minute they take an L, we call them a bum. And we don't put no respect on their name, and then now they lose money, which spawns this generation of fighters who are scared to lose, so they're scared to take these fights.
Scared to take chances.
Yeah, like if this was the 90s, we would have had Terrence Crawford versus Spence probably twice already. Maybe even going on the trilogy. We'd have had Joshua versus Wilder. We definitely would have had Joshua versus Wilder, because Don King was putting them heavyweights in there.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so it's just watered down, man.
It's watered down now. When you talk about the face of boxing, and Floyd was the face of boxing for a while, that 50-0, I think fighters look at that and they have tried to build their career. But the thing about Floyd Mayweather is, and I wasn't a fan, but he fought the best. From the time he got a title, he fought everybody on his resume. Champions. I mean, he took chances. He fought, and he called out people that you don't call out a Shane Mosley at 135, but he did. Yeah. So,
and like I said, could make Shane fight him.
Yeah, he could make Shane fight him. And look, and for Shane's credit, which I think it would have been a better fight down there at 135, you know. But for Shane's credit, I'm moving up to fight De La Hoya. What am I fight you for?
Exactly. So that's one of the reasons why you can't blame.
Yeah, you can't blame Shane.
Santa Cruz for taking a Tank Davis fight over Gary Russell. You know what I'm saying? So it's just stupid, man. And like I said, Gary Russell gonna always have my respect.
Salute to you,
First
Gary.
of all, because we from this city, and I know what that man the type of work that man put in, and the amateurs and all that, and to become who he is today. And secondly, because that man did what a lot of people wouldn't do. A lot of people wouldn't go to a fight with an injured arm against that level of opponent. So, I mean, say what you want to say. After I seen Devin Haney laughing, cool. But guess what? One day, because you're good, you're that good too. You're going to be in the position that Gary Russell is in, because you're going to be too good, and you're not. You should see it now. You're not getting those marquee fights now. Yeah. You're Gary Russell. God damn it. You're Gary Russell. You're the fucking Gary Russell of 135.
Yep.
You're the WBC champion at 135, and you can't get a marquee fight.
Nobody even wants your damn title. They won't fight you. You're going to have to take chances. That's what's going to happen to you. You're going to have to take chances. You're going to have to move to 140. You got to fight bigger fighters, more dangerous fights, when you should be unifying at 135 and everything else. Like you said, you can laugh now, but your ass is going to deal. You're dealing with the same, basically, like Brandon said, you're dealing with the same shit right now. So, I mean, you can keep calling out people and everything. I mean, you know how it is. Look, motherfuckers fought to be your number one contender. And then they didn't want to fight you because, you know what, it was a bigger fight. You know what I'm saying? Look, I can make more money fighting Tank. Okay, then, well, like I said, we shouldn't use Ryan because Ryan just pulls out every fight. It doesn't matter if it was a fight against you, Alan. Ryan probably would have pulled out.
Sad part about this, well, yeah.
And Ryan's good too. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all know I like Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan.
I mean, y'all know who my go-to is.
His mental, his mental thing. And like I said, and Ryan was in camp with. I mean, he had the best teacher.
The best.
The man showed him the shot that basically ended the fight when he got knocked down against Luke Campbell. He showed him the shot. Bow. So, but like I said, respect to Gary Russell, respect to MAGSAYO. I hope I'm pronouncing your your name right, because like I said, MAGSAYO. Okay, because I'm not gonna hold it against you because Gary went in there with one arm, and once you step through them ropes, it's no excuses.
None at all. And guess what? He didn't give none.
He didn't give none.
You know, he went in there, he fought, and guess what? He didn't pull up Brandon Figueroa and start whining and y'all know I won. Yep. He clapped his hands, hugged that man. Huh?
No,
Figueroa.
Yeah, throw that little underhand pitch to
you
you, that Figueroa.
He hugged that man. You know, congratulated him. Of course, he felt like he won the fight, which is fine. But you know, he held himself like a respectable man. Yeah, he did. And he moved on. And like I said, he didn't have to take that fight. Well, so he got all the respect in the world.
I mean, he lost the title, but I'm hoping Gary Russell, that this isn't the end of your career, but actually the beginning. That some of these boys or some of these fighters will get some heart and give you the opportunity.
I mean, unless you fight to you're like 35, 40, you start losing your hand speed, Gary. Most of these people.
Yeah, they'll start to fight him when he get older. Like I said, it's like Gamboa. Look at Gamboa when he was young. Gamboa was on fights, knocking motherfuckers out. Then he got old. Got hit a couple times. Got knocked down. He's a stepping stone. He's a good looking name on a resume. So, like I said, if I'm Gary Russell, I weigh my options, man, because last thing you want to do is tarnish your legacy by becoming a journeyman or a gateway keeper. Because these guys, even though you lost, bro, Gary my age, Gary maybe 33 or 34 already. You know what I'm saying? So you got about 2 years or so before people start wanting the Gary Russell fight. And like I said, just be smart, man, because I felt like you could have been a little smarter this fight and not took that fight because you knew the deck was stacked against you and you knew that you already couldn't get these fights with the belt. So these motherfuckers are not going to allow you to derail their chances at a title. And that's it from me.
Yeah, that's it, man. All right, take it down.
Batman Boxing Talk.
We out.